I didn't move to the lake to become a villain. I moved to escape them. I'd spent 12 years in downtown Phoenix, working IT security for one of those government-contracted firms where everything is top secret, high stress, and behind 16 firewalls. By the end of it, I had an ulcer, 3 alarms set for every morning, and 0 peace. So when a buddy tipped me off about a remote lake cabin for sale, fiber internet included, I took it as a sign from the gods of bandwidth. The place was perfect. A cedar-clad smart home tucked into the pines, overlooking a glittering horseshoe-shaped lake with maybe 20 homes scattered around the water. I closed the deal in a week, packed up, and relocated with nothing but my tools, my tech, and my cat, Spock. What I didn't realize was that half the lake was part of Eagle Crest Lakeside Community HOA, and that across the water lived Mrs. Denise Halworth, HOA president, professional smile faker, and mom to a 19-year-old monster named Braden. Braden had the charisma of a wet sponge and the entitlement of a royal brat. Think backwards snapback, vape clouds, and a permanent scowl because the Wi-Fi over here sucks, bro. That's where our story begins. The first interaction was innocent enough. I'd only been there a week when Braden paddled across the lake on a kayak like a soggy pirate and knocked on my dock post. "Yo," he said. "You got Wi-Fi, right?" I was sitting on the porch, sipping coffee, watching the ducks. "Sure do. Cool if I hop on? We got this garbage DSL and my Twitch stream keeps lagging." I blinked. "Twitch?" "Yeah," he said, like it should have been obvious. "I stream gameplay. Gotta keep the grind up." I gave a polite but firm smile. "Sorry, man. My network's private. Not sharing." He stared. "Seriously? Seriously? You live alone. What do you need all that bandwidth for?" "My business," I said. "Literally. I work remotely." He huffed, muttered something about boomers, I'm 38, and paddled off in a tantrum. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. Over the next few days, I noticed some odd things. Unusual pings on my firewall. Repeated attempts to access my router's SSID. A rogue hotspot labeled freelakenet_5G suddenly appeared near my dock. I traced the signal to a battery-powered repeater hidden in a hollow log near the shoreline. Braden had tried to spoof my network. I yanked the repeater out, fried it with a voltage overload, for fun, and added MAC address filtering to my system. 2 days later, he was back, this time with his mom. Denise Halworth, queen of passive aggression, stood at the edge of my dock in pearls and boat shoes like she was about to scold the help. "Mr. Dalton," she called. "We need to have a word." I stepped outside, leaned against the post, and nodded. "Go ahead." She gestured to Braden, who stood there holding his vape like it was a security blanket. "My son has told me you're denying him access to the community bandwidth." I laughed. "There is no community bandwidth. There's my bandwidth. I pay for it. I own it." She smiled in that icy, PDA president way. "It would be neighborly of you to share. And it would be neighborly of him not to try hacking into my router." Her smile vanished. "That's a serious accusation," she said. "I have logs. IPs. Device fingerprints." Braden flushed red. "I wasn't hacking. I just tried a couple passwords. That's called unauthorized access, genius." Denise stiffened. "We'll be speaking to the HOA board about this." "You do that," I said, "and let them know my lawyer would love to explain digital trespassing statutes to them." They stormed off. That night, someone egged my mailbox. Coincidence? Maybe. But then came the kicker. 3 days later, Braden called 911. Claimed there was suspicious activity at my cabin. Said I had radio equipment that was interfering with the neighborhood's communications. I kid you not. 2 sheriff's deputies knocked on my door that afternoon, apologetic and bemused. I invited them in, showed them my work setup, 3 secured terminals, a signal-isolated office, legal and licensed equipment. I even gave them fresh coffee. They left shaking their heads. "Kids wasting our time," one said. "Probably mad about Fortnite or something." But I was done. "You want to waste my time? Fine. Let me waste your entire digital life." See, what Braden didn't know is that I don't just use networks. I build them. And I just so happen to have an industrial-grade long-range directional antenna in storage, left over from a high-altitude drone mapping project. So I climbed onto my cabin roof, mounted it, and pointed it straight at the Eagle Crest HOA. Then I set up my own open hotspot called Free HOA Wi-Fi, broadcast with a honey trap signal so sweet you could smell the desperation. Braden, of course, jumped on immediately. And the moment he connected, I sandboxed his device. Redirected every site he visited to a loop of dancing penguins. then dumped him into a captive portal that looked exactly like a system error message that crashed his tablet. The next day, 4 other devices from the HOA side tried connecting. I traced their IPs, identified their street, and geofenced them. I didn't just block Braden. I blocked the entire HOA neighborhood from seeing my signal. No more mooching. No more sniffing. But I wasn't done. I wrote up a formal complaint and sent it to the HOA board, attaching packet capture logs, access attempts, timestamps, and Braden's little 911 stunt. And then I included the following paragraph. Should any further unauthorized access attempts be made, I will not only pursue legal action under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, but I will also deploy a secondary mesh of signal disruptors targeting the 2.4 GHz spectrum, which may render your entire street's smart appliances unusable. This is not a threat. This is a technical certainty. They didn't respond. But a week later, I got a knock on the door. It was Roger Myers, HOA board treasurer and a genuinely decent guy. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a signed apology from Denise Halworth and her son, along with a note that read, "Effective immediately, the Halworth family will no longer be attending HOA board meetings. Nor will they be communicating with you in any capacity. We regret the disturbance." Roger chuckled. "Between you and me, that was the most productive board vote we've ever had." I offered him a beer. "Braden? I hear he had to switch to mobile data. The horror. And me? I still sit on my dock every morning, sipping coffee while my internet hums at lightning speed. My Wi-Fi is secure. My piece is back. And my antenna? Still pointed directly at their street, just in case someone forgets the lesson. Because sometimes the strongest fence isn't made of wood or barbed wire. Sometimes it's encrypted.